Ready to open the hood? UseTool for the tutorials.
And for car parts, the right idea is the Mr. Auto app. Easy, fast, and with better prices than on the website.
You will find the bulk shock absorbers used in the video exclusively on the Mr. Auto website and through the link in the description. Turn your engine off, pull up the handbrake, pull on the bonnet release lever, and open the bonnet. On this vehicle, the top strut mounts are accessible. Brush the shock absorber head nut and spray it with penetrating oil. Then, using a ratchet, a 21mm socket and a 6mm Allen socket, unscrew the nut on the top strut mount by a few threads in order to create some play for the next operations. You can also use the specific tool used in the video, which will make your task much easier. Loosen the stud bolts on the front wheels. Lift the front of the vehicle. We strongly suggest watching the tutorial, raising your vehicle safely before carrying out this step. Place the vehicle on the axle stands. You must remove the wheels in order to change the front shock absorbers on your car. This will give you full access to the suspension system. Don't forget to slide them under the vehicle. During this operation, you will work on the front end of your car. An alignment check carried out by a professional will ensure that your steering system is once again perfectly adjusted and functioning. As the components to be removed are very often seized up, don't hesitate to brush and to use penetrating oil to facilitate the operation. Using a socket wrench and a 10mm socket, unscrew the ABS sensor mounting bracket. Then remove it. Brush the two screws of the shock absorber base and spray them with degreaser. Using a breaker bar and an 18mm socket, a socket wrench and an 18mm socket, unscrew the two screws from the base of the shock absorber. Prepare a stable, elevated surface to place all the stub axle once you've removed it. Remove the screws from the shock absorber base. Disconnect the shock absorber base from the stub axle. The base of the shock absorber should now be free. Finish unscrewing the suspension strut support bearing retaining nut. Remove the upper support bearing. Remove the shock absorber. In order to change the shock absorber, you must now separate it from the spring. You can find in the description the tool we used in the video, which we think is most adapted to the operation. Careful! Pay attention as you compress the spring. This is not without risk and should be undertaken paying very careful attention. Block the tool in a vise. This will make it easier to use. Install the shock absorber on the tool, then tighten the mobile flange against the spring, controlling its position carefully. Check that they're properly held by the locking studs, then slowly compress the spring using the socket wrench and the appropriate socket. Once the shock absorber is free from the spring, using a 27mm offset wrench, you can unscrew the nut on the shock absorber itself. In the most extreme cases, you have to use an impact wrench. Then remove the lower suspension strut support bearing, the upper shock absorber support. Remove the shock absorber from the spring.
Okay, guys, if we can share this video with you and help you save a lot of money, is also thanks to our partner, Mr. Auto. So, if you want to support us and buy the part for this operation, visit their website. Okay, back to work.
You will find the bulk parts and products used in the video on the Mr. Auto site and in the link in the description. Take the new shock absorber. Before installing the new shock absorbers, it is necessary to prime them by pressing the shock absorber rod vertically so that the gas and the hydraulic fluid are separated. Unscrew the lock nut on the stem. Then install the bellows and strut bumper. Position everything in the spring. Then install the upper shock absorber support the rotating stub in the support bearing. Then install the complete set of the shock absorber stem and finish by screwing in the lock nut onto the shock absorber stem. Tighten firmly using a 27mm socket. Pay careful attention to place the bottom of the spring so that it supports the shock absorber flange. Unscrew the spring compression tool, paying attention to the position of the spring on the lower shock absorber support. You have now finished preparing the new part. Insert the shock absorber starting from the top part. Replace the upper suspension strut support bearing, then screw its retaining nut by hand. Thread the shock absorber into the stub axle. Then put the bolts back in place. Tighten the lock nuts. Tighten the nuts with a torque spanner. Screw the retaining bracket back on. Then you will be able to put the wheels back on your vehicle. Put the car back on the ground and block the wheels securely. Finish tightening the retaining nut and the suspension strut support bearing. Final tightening of the suspension strut support bearing nut is done with a torque wrench. Operation completed.
Hi, it's Theo from UseTool. I hope this video has helped you a lot in your car maintenance. We would be super grateful if you could spread the word so that we can produce even more tutorials. Simply give us a like, a comment, and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us boost the channel and help the whole community. Thanks a lot and have a great one.